I carry scars you'll never see. Not the kind etched into flesh, but the kind burned into silence. The kind that doesn't fade when the wound closes. The kind that whispers in the dark, reminding me every night that betrayal doesn't just hurt. It lingers. It breathes. It feeds. They say time heals all wounds. They lie. Time doesn't heal. Time teaches you how to hide it, how to wear it like armor, how to carry it so long that the weight becomes a part of you. But the scar remains, always. I learned something the night trust shattered in my hands. I don't forgive. I don't forget. I don't beg for apologies that were never meant to be spoken. I don't waste breath trying to understand why someone I trusted chose to cut me open. I don't beg the blade to explain itself, because scars don't negotiate. They don't bargain. They remind. And every time I see the mark you left, I remember what you thought I couldn't survive. You smiled while carving me open. You whispered promises while twisting the knife. You looked me in the eye and told me I was safe, while already planning how to leave me in ruins. That's the part no one talks about. Betrayal doesn't just come from the knife. It comes from the smile that hides it. The hand that swore to hold you steady while pushing you off the edge. I remember. I remember every detail. The tone of your voice. The way the air felt heavier. The silence afterward. And I'll never forgive it. I'll never forget it. Because the scar is proof. Proof that I trusted. Proof that I bled. Proof that I lived through what should have broken me. I don't stand here as a victim. No. Victims wait for apologies that never come. Victim anymore. I sharpen. To those listening now, don't let them lie to you. Don't let them tell you to forgive in order to heal. Healing doesn't come from forgetting. Healing comes from owning the scar, carrying it, weaponizing it. The scar is your story. The silence is your forge. Remember who left you behind. Remember who let you bleed. Remember the cold nights when you had nothing but your own broken reflection staring back at you. And then rise with it. I don't forgive. I don't forget. I become stronger. That is the oath of the scarred. That is the creed of the betrayed. That is the prophecy of those left behind. So when you look at me now, don't see the victim of a wound. See the scar that became a crown. See the silence that became a kingdom. See the man who was carved open, but refused to stay broken. The scar never heals, but I don't want it to. Because every time it aches, I remember. And every time I remember, betrayal never comes from strangers. The knife is never carried by the one in the distance. It is always placed in the hands of the one you trusted most. The blade behind my back wasn't sharpened by enemies. It was forged in the warmth of promises, polished with words like, forever. I've got you. You can trust me. And when it pierced me, it wasn't the wound that broke me. It was the realization. The realization that while I was speaking with an open heart, you were already measuring the depth of my silence. While I was guarding your name, you were rehearsing the moment you'd leave mine in the dirt. You. Yes. You. You smiled while carving me open. You spoke loyalty while digging graves. You looked me in the eyes as if I was safe. And in that same breath, you twisted the knife until I could barely stand. Do you remember? Because I do. I remember everything. The moment trust shattered. The way the world grew quiet, as if it had been waiting for me to learn this lesson all along. The way my chest tightened, not just from the pain, but from the disbelief. Disbelief that it was you. That's the part they don't tell you. The betrayal doesn't kill you instantly. It poisons you slowly. It spreads. You wake up every morning with the taste of rust in your mouth, as if you swallowed the blade. You replay the conversations, every laugh, every word, every secret you shared. And suddenly, they all feel like weapons turned against you. You start to wonder if they were ever real. Were you ever real to them? Or were you just a stepping stone? A convenience? A mirror they used until they didn't like the reflection anymore? I bled quietly. That's what betrayal demands of you. It doesn't take your life. It takes your voice. It leaves lied with a straight face. I don't forget because forgetting is mercy, and I carry no mercy for the one who smiled while watching me bleed. I remember. Every day. Every word. Every moment. And I use it. To those listening, hear me clearly. The blade behind your back is proof, not punishment. It proves you trusted. It proves you cared. It proves you were loyal, in a world where loyalty is rare. And when they betray you, don't beg for answers. Don't chase their apologies. Don't hope they'll wake up one day with regret. Take the scar. Take the silence. Take the blade and turn it into something they'll never recognize. I used to think betrayal was the end. Now I know it was the beginning. The blade didn't kill me. It carved me into something unbreakable. So when I say I don't forgive and I don't forget, understand this. It's not bitterness. It's not obsession. It's clarity. Because the scar doesn't lie. The silence doesn't lie. The blade doesn't lie. You lied. And that's why I'll never forgive you. But remember this. I carry your betrayal like steel in my hands now. I don't need revenge. I don't need your collapse. I don't need the world to punish you. The greatest punishment is me, standing here, alive, stronger, and unbroken. Silence. That's what comes after betrayal. Not healing, not closure, just silence. The kind of silence that presses on your chest at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep because your mind is replaying every moment. The kind that feels heavier than words, heavier than screams, heavier than blood. They left, but their absence stayed. They spoke lies, but it's their silence that haunts. I remember the nights after the blade sank in. The world went quiet, but not peaceful. Quiet in the way a battlefield looks after the war. Smoke rising, bodies broken, the air still carrying the weight of violence. That's what betrayal does. It leaves you in ruins, staring at the wreckage of everything you thought was unshakable. And in that silence, you're alone with your thoughts, alone with the poison, alone with the ghosts of every word you believed. You think you're strong until silence teaches you otherwise. Because silence talks. It whispers doubts. It screams reminders. It holds a mirror to your face and forces you to look. And what I saw wasn't the man I thought I was. I saw someone cracked, someone bleeding, someone who trusted too easily, loved too deeply, gave too much. The silence mocked me. The shadows mocked me. Even my reflection felt like an enemy. But here's what they never tell you. Silence can be a prison, or it can be a forge. At first, it cages you. It locks you in with your fears. It forces you to sit with the betrayal, to replay it until you think you'll go mad. Every detail gnaws at you. The words, the looks, the promises. The silence keeps them alive. But if you endure it, if you sit long enough in the shadows, you start to hear something else. Your own voice, buried beneath will make you unrecognizable. The silence that once mocked me is now my ally. The shadows that once terrified me now walk with me. You cannot break a man who learned to breathe in the dark. That's why I don't forgive. That's why I don't forget. Because the silence gave me clarity. It showed me who I was, and it showed me who they were. And once you've seen truth in the shadows, you never return to illusions. Now, when the nights are quiet, I don't fear them. I own them. The silence is mine. The shadows answer to me. Because betrayal may have written the first line of my story, but silence wrote the chapters that followed. So I walk with the scar. I walk with the silence. I walk with the shadows. And I carry them as proof. Proof that I was broken, but not destroyed. Proof that I was left in the dark, but I learned to see without light. The weight of shadows is heavy, yes, but it's mine to carry. And in carrying it, I became someone you will never break again. Pain changes when you stop running from it. At first, it crushes you. It breaks your chest open. It makes you feel like breathing is punishment. But when you stand still long enough, when you stop begging it to go away, you realize something. Pain isn't the enemy. Pain is the forge. I used to fear it. Every morning I woke up with its weight on my ribs. I cursed it. Every night I carried it into bed like a parasite gnawing on my veins. I wanted to cut it out of me. But then I understood. Pain wasn't sent to kill me. Pain was sent to carve me. Like fire to raw iron. Like a hammer to molten steel. Like pressure to stone, shaping diamonds in the dark. You thought the wound would leave me weak. You thought the silence would make me crumble. But you forgot that fire doesn't consume iron. It purifies it. And I was iron. I just didn't know it yet. So I trained in the fire. Every sleepless night became a workout for my soul. Every unanswered question became a weight on my shoulders, and I carried it until my body shook. Every scar became a lesson. Every cut became a rep. Every tear became fuel. I turned my pain into iron. I didn't heal by forgetting you. I didn't heal by forgiving you. I healed by weaponizing you. The very things you thought would break me became the reasons I rise. The betrayal that poisoned my veins became the fire that burns in my chest. The silence that once mocked me became the training ground where I learned discipline sharper than any blade. Do you hear me? You gave me pain, and I became stronger. You gave me silence, and I became sharper. You gave me scars, and I became untouchable. I didn't need your apology. I didn't need your explanation. I didn't need closure. Beg for healing. Step into the fire. When silence suffocates you, don't collapse. Breathe it in. When pain cuts you open, don't stitch it too fast. Let it carve you. Because one day, you'll stand where I stand, and you'll look back at the ruins of who you were and realize they didn't break you. They built you. Now, when I walk into the world, I don't hide my scars. I wear them like armor. I let the world see them because I know what they mean. They're not weaknesses. They're blueprints. They're proof that I've been through the fire and I came out iron. And iron doesn't bow. Iron doesn't beg. Iron doesn't break. I don't forgive. I don't forget. I become stronger. That's the creed carved into my chest by every night of silence, every drop of blood, every lie turned weapon. You thought betrayal would end me, but betrayal only gave me the fire I needed. You thought pain would bury me, but pain only forged me into iron. And now, when you see me, remember this. You didn't leave me broken. You left me forged. When I disappeared, the world thought it was over for me. They saw silence as surrender. They mistook absence for defeat. They thought betrayal had cut too deep, that I would never stand again. And maybe, for a while, they were right. I was gone, buried under scars, drowned in shadows, swallowed by fire. But silence isn't weakness. Silence is preparation. I didn't vanish to hide. I vanished to rebuild. I didn't disappear to collapse. I disappeared to become unrecognizable. The man who left in ruins is not the man who stands here now. That version of me, broken, bleeding, questioning, died in the silence. What returned is something else. Something sharper. Something colder. That's what they never understand. The return is never loud. It's never announced with fanfare. It's quiet. silent, terrifying. Because when a man comes back from betrayal, he doesn't return for acceptance. He doesn't return for validation. He doesn't return to be who he was. He returns as a weapon. You thought my silence meant defeat. You thought my absence meant erasure. But you forgot what silence does. It sharpens. It hardens. It teaches you to breathe where there is no air, to fight where there is no hope, to live when you've already died once. And that's what I am now. A man who has already died once. Do you know what that means? It means there's nothing left to fear. I don't come back for forgiveness. I don't come back for closure. I don't come back to fix what you shattered. I come back as proof. Proof that betrayal doesn't bury me. Proof that silence doesn't erase me. Proof that pain, you're gone. Let them whisper that you're finished. Let them believe you'll never rise again. And then, walk back quietly. Let your presence choke the air they breathe. Let your silence echo louder than any speech you could give. That's how I returned. Quietly. Without announcement. Without apology. Without explanation. And yet, when I walked back into the room that once cast me out, everything stopped. Not because I demanded attention, but because silence followed me like a storm. I didn't need to say a word. I was the word. I was the scar walking. I was the silence breathing. I was the iron forged. You thought betrayal ended me. You thought silence buried me. You thought pain consumed me. But I carried them all, and I walked back with them on my shoulders like a crown. I don't forgive. I don't forget. I return stronger. That is the silent return. And once you've witnessed it, you'll never forget it. There comes a moment after betrayal when the wound closes, but the scar remains alive. Not healed, not erased, just hardened. That's where I stand now. Scarred, but standing. Broken once, but unbroken now. And make no mistake, I don't forgive. I don't forget. Forgiveness is for those who seek peace with their betrayers. Forgetting is for those who fear the memory. I am not one of them. You thought I would beg for your apology. You thought I would long for your explanation. You thought I would collapse in your absence. But I learned something sharper than mercy. I don't need you. I don't need your words. I don't need your regret. Because regret doesn't rebuild me. Apologies don't forge me. Silence doesn't shatter me anymore. You still twisted the knife. I want you to know I remember every lie, every smirk, every moment you thought I was blind. I remember the night you walked away. I remember the silence that followed. I remember the weight of the blade behind my back. And still, I stand here, unforgiven, unbroken. I am not here to erase the past. I am not here to bury the memory. I am here to carry it, wield it, weaponize it. Every scar you left is my armor. Every cut you made is my strength. Every shadow you dragged me through is now mine to command. You thought betrayal was poison. I turned it into blood. You thought silence was death. I turned it into breath. And now, when you see me, understand this. I am no longer the loyal heart you once deceived. I am no longer the man who gave everything without hesitation. I am the storm your betrayal created. And storms don't forgive. Storms don't forget. Storms consume would shatter me. Instead, it resurrected me. Now I move like steel. Now I speak like fire. Now I live with a heart that bleeds no more. This is not bitterness. This is not revenge. This is transformation. The kind you'll never understand, because you never stood in the silence long enough. I did. And now, the silence walks with me. To everyone listening, let them call you cold. Let them call you heartless. Let them call you ruthless. They don't know what it took for you to survive. Because forgiveness is a luxury of the unscarred. Forgetting is a gift of the untouched. But you know better. You know scars don't vanish. You know silence doesn't fade. You know betrayal doesn't erase, it rewrites. So carry it. Own it. Rise with it. Be unforgiven. Be unbroken. Because the world doesn't need another forgiver. It needs another survivor. And that's what I am. That's what I'll always be. Unforgiven. Unbroken. Every scar tells a story. Some try to hide theirs, covering them with fabric, makeup, lies. But me, I wear mine like a crown. Because what is a king without proof of the wars he's survived? What is a throne without the scars that built it? You thought my scars would shame me. You thought they would haunt me. But scars are not reminders of weakness. They are monuments of survival. I don't forgive. I don't forget. I don't beg for mercy, and I don't disguise my wounds. Because my scars are the crown you gave me when you tried to break me. And the irony? You never meant to make me stronger. But you did. You see, betrayal carves deeper than blades. It doesn't just slice flesh, it splits identity. It doesn't just bleed you, it rewrites you. The man you betrayed is gone. The man standing here was born from scars. Do you know what happens when pain stops hurting? It hardens. It crystallizes. It becomes something more permanent than skin. That's what my scars are. They are not open wounds. They are not festering doubts. They are sealed, hardened, eternal. And now, when I look at myself, I don't see brokenness. I see a crown of scars. You, the betrayer, the liar, the coward hiding behind false promises. Every scar I wear is a reflection of you. Every mark on my soul is a signature you left behind. But here's the difference. You left them to wound me. I kept them to remind me. Remind me of who I was. Remind me of what I lost. Remind me of how far I've come. And I turned them into regalia. This crown isn't gold. It isn't silver. It is man who trusted you. You don't see the man you deceived. You don't see the man who bled for you. You see the king your betrayal created. And kings don't forgive. Kings don't forget. Kings rise with scars as their crown and silence as their throne. To those walking through betrayal, don't hide your scars. Show them. Don't cover your wounds. Carry them. Don't erase your pain. Weaponize it. Because one day you'll look in the mirror and realize the crown on your head was built from every scar they left. And you'll smile. Not because they broke you, but because you survived them. I don't forgive. I don't forget. I rise with a crown of scars. That is my throne. That is my dominion. That is the empire built from the ashes of betrayal. Once, I gave freely my time, my trust, my loyalty, my heart. I believed sacrifice was love. I believed bleeding for others was strength. But betrayal taught me something colder, something truer. Not everyone deserves your blood. Not everyone deserves your loyalty. Not everyone deserves you. I used to give until there was nothing left. I used to pour myself out, believing that the ones I stood for would stand for me. But when the blade came, it came from the ones I bled for. And that was the moment I realized, never again. I don't bleed for anyone now. Not because I have no heart, but because my blood is sacred. Not because I am cold, but because I am wise. Betrayal taught me that people love to drink what they never earned. They love to take from wells they never dug. They love to stand in the shelter of roofs they never built. And when the storm comes, they're gone. So I don't forgive. I don't forget. And I don't bleed for anyone anymore. My blood is mine. My scars are mine. My silence is mine. You, yes, you, the one who thought I'd never rise again. Do you know what you created? You built a man who doesn't collapse for anyone. You built a man who doesn't bow for anyone. You built a man who doesn't bleed for anyone. You thought betrayal would weaken me, but all it did was teach me boundaries sharper than blades. There's a strength that comes from scars, but there's an even greater strength that comes from refusing to open new ones. Now, when people reach for me, I choose. When people call for me, I decide. When people try to carve their names into my chest, I walk away. Because I am not here to be consumed. I am here to conquer. To those listening, hear me clearly. Stop bleeding for those who wouldn't spit on your wounds if you were dying. Stop breaking yourself for those. Don't bleed for anyone. Not anymore. Not ever. Because betrayal carved me into something unrecognizable. Silence rebuilt me into something unshakable. Scars crowned me into something undeniable. And now, when I look at myself, I see not a victim, but a survivor who bleeds for no one. So when you see me standing here, scarred but sovereign, know this. I am not here for your apologies. I am not here for your forgiveness. I am not here for your understanding. I am here to live, untouchable, to rise, unbreakable, to stand, unstoppable. You handed me the mirror, then blamed me for being cracked. Now I don't bleed for anyone.